It's time to go back to Battlefield.
Hey guys, this is not Random Alec, but this is definitely the Back to Battlefield podcast. Alec?
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 6 of the podcast. Infidel's here with us, and I'm here as well, clearly. Unfortunately, we had to stop playing Borderlands 2, not Battlefield 3, to make this podcast because we do realize the Armored Kill DLC came out last Tuesday for Xbox 360 premium members and PC premium members. So we thought we'd make this episode as promised to give you guys our impressions of the Armored Kill DLC. And there's actually been a couple of server patches already addressing some issues with the Armored Kill DLC once, everyone on the Xbox and the PC had a chance to play with it. There was a lot of complaints about certain things. So we'll cover that, and then anything else Infidel wants to talk about, I guess. But
Is that like some? Come on, man.
What happened?
You're just like kicking me out of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you have anything else to talk about, Infidel, before we get started?
Nah. I'll just go along with what you say, Mr.
Okay.
Borderlands Guru.
Borderlands Guru. Yeah, we'll try not to keep mentioning Borderlands during the podcast because it came out this Tuesday and we've been playing it a lot more than Battlefield 3 since its release on Tuesday. Unfortunately, people like Trigger Happy don't have it yet because they do not live in the United States, so everyone else is getting it tomorrow, or some people like Mr. Zen.
So like, easy solution, just move to America.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, to be honest, because I've been to. Well, this isn't really gonna be a valid point because I've only been to one place in Europe, which would be Amsterdam, and I obviously wouldn't mind living there for many reasons. But yeah, everyone else basically internationally it releases tomorrow, or if you're like Mr. Zen, like I was saying, he got the game today through some miraculous way, I guess. Maybe it's easier to get a game earlier.
He's a
Wherever
life
he
hacker.
lives. Okay, so to get started, there was a server R30 update on Thursday, September 13th. Well, I guess before we talk about the updates, obviously we need to give you guys an idea of what we think about the Armored Kill DLC. Infidel, do you want to go first about that?
I'll let you go first and just comment on the stupidity that comes out of your mouth.
The stupidity. But
Yeah.
overall, I thought the Armored Kill DLC was great. I downloaded it right away on Tuesday. I've been playing it until Borderlands 2 came out. A good amount. I didn't play it every single day, but I played it enough right away. I played Rush and everything to check out all the game modes because I had seen some live streams of people playing the Rush mode and the whole thing with the AC-130 being overpowered, especially in Rush because it was spawning too quickly even though you destroy it and all that. The first map I played on was Death Valley. I had played Conquest on that, followed by Tank Superiority. Initially, I know Infidel was there to experience this, and he probably remembers now that I'm going to mention it. The first couple of days that I was playing Armored Kill, specifically the Tank Superiority mode, I was hating it. And I was raging pretty badly about it. And yeah,
I know I was there.
Yeah, I don't remember the reason right now. I think it's just because like there was no teamwork, and just like we talked about in the podcast, leading to the release of Armored Kill, we were reading some of these strategy things posted by the people at DICE and everything, and some of the blog posts that like advice on how to play Armored Kill and the Tank Superiority mode, that you got to capture the flag and then move back, because if you sit down there like in the area where the flag is, you're going to get killed and everything. And that's what my teammates were doing. Obviously not the actual people that were in my squad, like Trigger, Infidel. We were sticking together and playing smart because we at least paid attention to things like that. But it was just horrible. Like, I hated the game mode because all these Smurfs and everything were just capturing the flag, and they were spinning around in circles right next to the flag and circling the flag, trying to survive there, and that wasn't going to get you anywhere.
Do a barrel roll. I mean, donuts.
Dude, a barrel roll. That's air superiority. That's coming up in the next DLC, hopefully.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So what else? The other big thing I wanted to say, they fix it now in the two updates that were server side that we're gonna mention. But it was a problem to have the AC-130 on the rush game mode. Even in Conquest, referring to the jets being able to kill the gunship in one strafe and AA guns shooting it across the map. I was doing all those things myself, so I was witnessing how easy it was to kill it. And at the same time, you're in the
Vice versa.
gunship. Yeah, you're in the gunship and you're using the cannon, and it doesn't really have any splash damage, and you have to hit vehicles like directly with the cannon and all that. So they haven't done anything as far as the weapons go. They have mentioned that they realize, there's other updates that they need to add besides server ones, because apparently they can't change the actual weapon system on the gunship or alter anything like that through a server update. So for now, they fixed a couple of things like the jet strafing and all that, and the respawn timers for the gunship. So, I mean, yeah,
So
it was initially a huge problem to have the gunship in most of the maps and the game modes, because it was balanced in some way, but I guess overbalanced in specific
there are
things.
some people that, like, a lot of people are complaining that the AC-130 is too OP. Uh, and in this patch, they're actually making it better. Not in terms of the weapons, of course, but in how hard it is to shoot down.
Yeah, definitely with the whole airplane strafing. You mean?
Yeah, they're actually doing nothing but up the AC-130.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Hopefully, they, at the same time, thinking about that whole thing that they changed the ability for, the airplane to kill it in one strafe. Obviously, they don't specify, how much they've actually reduced it by 50%. Obviously, I haven't played since the server patch, which was today actually. So who knows how quickly you could still kill the gunship? Maybe if you know how to fly in the jet. But yeah, again, I think it's fine that they did all these things in these server updates in the past week, but they definitely need to change the guns of the gunship a little, because it's not very balanced when it comes to that.
Uh, I have been able to play it since the patch. Well, I guess we can't call it exactly a patch, but the update. Um, when I just got my server up and running today, I
Oh, that's right, your big
there
server.
was no one
Well,
but me in the server. Yeah,
yeah, we can mention that at the end. Your server, anyway.
yeah. There was nobody but me in the server, so I went on one team, got the AC-130 in the air, then went to the other team and practiced strafing it, and it's actually a lot harder to shoot down.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't think about that. Obviously, you were playing today, and I didn't. You're the one that told me that this server update even came out, so I guess you got experience with it. I mean, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Like, what do you think
I
about it?
say it's a good thing, except for the fact that I never get in it.
Okay.
But it
Um.
does have a little bit. It does add a little bit of challenge
Okay.
into
Well,
taking it down.
yeah, that's good. Did you actually notice the respawn timer difference, or did you already read the server update notes before playing the game?
No, I didn't read them, and I did not notice that there was a difference. I believe that's
Oh,
only
okay.
for rush mode, and I've only played Conquest.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, you don't play Rush. But let's just go into the first server update, which was released on Thursday, September 13th. This one was apparently addressing some bug fixes. One of them was especially interesting, which I'll point out. But they halved the flag capture score in Domination. The Havoc is now a selectable deploy menu option in the Russian team on Alborz Mountain. I obviously didn't notice that was not available, actually, until they did the server update, I guess. Now, this was the interesting part, which I mentioned to Infidel before starting the podcast. Mobile artillery drivers are able to unlock a proximity defense, which is, I'm assuming, something like a tear gas or something that obviously
It's
damages you.
it is supposed to be some kind of a a thermal powder that
Oh,
kills.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I have yet to see it, because I think I've actually unlocked it on the mobile artillery, but I just haven't used it yet. After I unlocked it, I stopped playing at that moment. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to see it soon. But anyway, apparently in this server update that was released last Thursday, they fixed an issue where the driver would deploy this proximity defense and it would actually damage him within the vehicle. So I thought that was especially funny because if that would have happened to me, it's like one of those things that has been happening to me more and more in Battlefield 3 lately, that I just die out of nowhere and I would have flipped out wondering what the hell killed me. So it's nice that they fixed that so quickly. What else? The gunship respawn timer has been increased from 60 to 90 seconds. That was apparently overall, actually, because they don't state if it's in the rush game mode, but maybe that was just something they left out. And reserve slots or the join queue was not working properly on some servers, and that has been fixed. So that's what they did in that server update. Now, the big one is the one from today, which is, they're going in order with the server update numbers and everything. So it's update R31, if anyone's keeping track of that stuff, I guess. So this was the bigger of the server updates. This is the one that, DICE had made a blog post about and informed us right away when we were playing Armored Kill on the Xbox and the PC. There was obviously thousands more people playing, and everyone was complaining about all these issues. So a quick rundown is they changed the stationary and mobile AA cannon damage versus the gunship by 30%. It's reduced by 30%. We mentioned the jet cannon damage has been reduced by 50% against the gunship. The delay before moving the gunship forward to a new base in rush mode has been increased from 15 to 30 seconds. Now it's interesting because they mentioned the reason for all these server updates, which is a nice thing they did in the battle log post of the server update, is that the reason they changed the timer on the gunship in rush mode in this case is because I never noticed this, and I was playing a good amount of rush because I wanted to see if it was worth complaining about the gunship being on that game mode and stuff. And apparently the gunship would move up quicker than the timer for the defensive players to be able to move into the bases and set up. So people were actually paradropping into the bomb sites and all that before the defensive players even got to the areas, and I guess they were planning it before they could even get there. There's 2 more big fixes, and then they got a couple of bug fixes, which there's also an interesting thing in there. The delay between gunship spawns has been increased from 90 to 120 seconds in rush mode. So obviously if you destroy the gunship, it'll take up to 2 minutes to respawn instead of a minute and a half. And the initial delay before the gunship spawns in rush mode has been increased from 15 to 60 seconds. So instead of half of your team not spawning in the first 15 seconds of the match, now it'll be an entire minute before your team helps you, because everyone's going to be waiting to spawn in the gunship. That's pretty much what that means. So, yeah, that's the first thing I thought about when I read that. I'm like, oh, great. So instead of people waiting for 15 seconds, they're just going to sit there for an entire minute. And there goes your victory. So they added these other small fixes in this update today, which is a server update, to remind you. It's not a patch or anything. You're not going to have to download anything. They fixed a bug where a new squad leader wasn't chosen when the current squad leader left. This is actually something I noticed, by the way, playing with Infidel even.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is why I kept asking like who the squad leader was, and then I would try to mark objectives and stuff, and I wasn't able to, and then it wasn't showing that we had a squad leader. I don't know how that bug even came into the game to begin with, and at what point it started, but they fixed that already through the server update, which is good.
Already, as far as we know, it's been there since close quarters.
Oh yeah, I mean, who knows? I honestly never noticed that until literally we were playing Armored Kill, and I kept asking that. I mean, it was really weird. But the other interesting thing of these smaller updates is they fixed the MK1A3 using flechette rounds instead of frag rounds in Gunmaster mode. Now, initially, while I was playing Armored Kill, I had played a few games of Gunmaster, and I noticed that I got to the MK1, which is also known as the Jackhammer. To those of you that play Battlefield 2, at least. So I would get to the MK1, and I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad they changed the frag rounds, whatever, and it's flechette rounds now. and it was still frag rounds. So, interestingly enough, in this server update today, they mentioned that they fixed it for premium members because apparently premium members still had frag rounds in that game mode. So it was interesting to see that, I mentioned it to Infidel. Somehow, I don't know if it's just a bug or they actually have the ability to set up, certain unlocks for premium and non-premium members. Maybe they could do something interesting with that if they're thinking about it. But it was weird to see that just because I was a premium member is the reason I didn't have the Flechetti rounds, which they mentioned they were adding to Gunmaster. And then the last thing is they fixed a bug with Squad Rush on Sharkey Peninsula where the user will spawn outside the combat area if they deployed shortly after the first MCOM was destroyed. We wouldn't know about that because we honestly don't play Rush that much. So I guess for those of you that play Rush on every single map, you are probably going crazy right now because they fixed that.
I know. I really couldn't care less about Rush.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, that what we said before all the server junk that I just read, and you guys are probably asleep by now. Those are pretty much our impressions with Armored Kill. Actually, what I wanted to mention is, I played Rush mode a good amount. I don't know if you were there, Infidel, but I didn't have a problem with the gunship being there in Rush mode at all. I played defense and attackers as well, and sure, I mean, we lost like the first couple of games that I had played of Rush in Armored Kill, and this was on Bandar Desert actually. And then we played a third round. I guess it was 3 rounds on each map, and we were playing as the defenders again, and we were able to hold them back. With the gunship, everything said and done. I was playing with 2 of my platoon members. And that was it. I mean, obviously we were doing most of the work because we were communicating, amongst ourselves and everything. And yeah, we were able, as the defensive players, we held back and we stopped the attackers from winning because that seems to be the reason people are complaining because obviously, the attackers are getting easy wins with the whole gunship and everything like that. But it's possible. Like, it wasn't difficult for us to really hold them back or anything, even though they had the gunship. So overall, I think the gunship is fine for it to be there in Rush mode. I could understand why DICE put it in there because it makes sense. You're fighting against the attacking team and whatever. They brought in their gunship because they really want to blow up the MCOMs or whatever. But yeah, overall, I don't have a problem with Armor Kill. I like tank superiority mode again after I went 15-0 on a map. Which, by the way, if you're going to be watching the podcast on YouTube, I'm going to throw that whole round in there of that gameplay. So you guys could watch me play 15-0 on tank superiority in a tank destroyer on, what's that map that's Caspian Border 2.0? See, that's the only way I remember
Armored Shield.
Armored Shield, there you go. So if you guys are going to be watching the podcast on YouTube, or just go on YouTube, my YouTube anyway, and you could check out the gameplay while you're listening to us. And you'll see, it's basically, I realized after the round ended, that's how you're supposed to play tank superiority. Basically what I was doing, I was playing with a couple of platoon mates, and we captured the flag, and all we did was sit back, make sure they wouldn't get close to it, and, we were shooting them across the map. And that's how I was able to go 15-0 because I was attacking, I was retreating, and that's how you're supposed to play it. You can't just sit there on the flag, with no cover, because obviously as soon as the enemies come in with 2 or 3 tanks, you're gonna get blown up before you could even find out where they are.
This has been Tactics Corner with Random Alec.
Tactics Corner. But yeah, wait till you guys see the gameplay because it was pretty crazy. I remind you, that's how you're supposed to play the tank superiority game mode. You're gonna see me retreating and everything, but that's how you're supposed to play it. We kept the flag, and as long as we had the flag, that's the whole reason there's only one flag. That's what you're supposed to do, just defend it as best you can. Now, I don't know if Infidel wants to mention anything else because he said he was going to talk a lot during this podcast because he was just in one of those moods.
When did I say that?
I mean, I've obviously spoken right now for about 20 minutes, as it is.
Yeah, you could. At this point, you could have done this all on your own.
All on my own.
Yeah, but I'm just here to talk about what you talk about, really.
Yeah, well, you haven't really mentioned anything. What do you think of Armored Kill overall? Like, is it disappointing? Did you get what you expected? I mean, obviously we knew what maps were coming out and most of the vehicles.
I got mostly what I was expecting. There's a lot of things that I guessed about on some episodes of the podcast that weren't in with Armored Kill that I really thought they would or really thought they should have put in. Um, they said they actually said this. They said they were going to make all the Armored Kill maps playable with every game mode in the game. But
And
that's
that's
not
not.
true.
That's
Not
oh
true at
okay.
all. There's
That's
not even so
interesting.
much as Conquest Assault.
Really?
Yep.
Now I know. But Conquest Assault, I think that was part of like that's always been part of Back to Karkand, right?
Yes, but the game mode came with the map pack. It doesn't mean they can't bring it through.
Right. Now that you mentioned that, I actually haven't tried playing because I completely forgot that you could also play team deathmatch and all that on these maps, and I haven't even tried that yet.
It's because that's not the point of them.
Yeah, I know. But speaking about the past podcasts and everything, how about like we were thinking that there was gonna be new helicopters and everything because we thought we saw them in the trailers. Like, that's the only thing that really disappointed me. But that was like a 2 second thing that I noticed right away when I started playing Armored Kill. I was like, oh, I guess they didn't add any helicopters after all.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's a lot of stuff we were hoping for that never came.
Yeah. What do you think about the? Well, I mean, the tank destroyers are, we had already given our opinions about those even before the DLC came out. They're quick. They're a lot slower than I thought they would be, if that makes sense. I don't think that makes sense. Like, I thought they would.
Doesn't
I thought they would be quicker. Is the way to say it. So that was the only weird thing. I got into the tank destroyer and I was like using the boost and everything, and I'm like, wow, this really isn't that fast as I thought.
no,
But
it is. It's because you didn't go from a tank immediately to a tank destroyer.
yeah,
Oh, speaking of that, it's it's such a stupid blunder on their part. There's one tank on for each team. Just one actual MBT for each team.
yeah. You're talking about on all game modes, or because I know on
For
Rush that I mean on.
Conquest specifically.
Oh, okay. I was gonna mention tank superiority, not Rush. That's what I was referring to. But yeah,
Well,
I've
tank
noticed that as well.
superiority
There's
too. It's a there's not. It's a tank game mode that doesn't have tanks.
yeah, it's
It
true.
makes no
I
sense.
noticed that. Yeah,
Why have the tank destroyers if you don't have a tank?
exactly, exactly. At that moment, you should just call it a tank destroyer because that's all it's gonna be. You're not gonna be shooting
Yeah,
at many
yeah.
tanks, really. But yeah, that's
It
another thing
will.
I noticed. What else? What do you think about the mobile artillery? I know you always try to get into it when we're playing with each other, but I've gotten my good amount of kills with it. I told you about my platoon member that has like at least 200 kills with it already, which is pretty insane.
Yep, that's true.
Have
I
Have you
haven't
used it a
spent
lot
a lot of
more? Or?
time in it, huh?
Oh, okay. No, I was
I
asking if
haven't.
you used it a lot more yet.
Yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time with it, but when I do, I find it very difficult to get kills if you don't have someone spotting people constantly,
Right.
or if you. It really helps if you have like a forward observer, so your friend's out in the distance, telling you where to adjust your shots if there's like if you're shooting behind a building or something.
Right. I just remember we were doing that in that
Yeah,
what was it, Death Valley, and that worked out
yeah,
amazing. I mean, that one guy that was even in the ATV and he started driving away and I had already shot off and I hit him like right on target.
yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, that's really the only way to do it. I know both of us, sorry, agreed on that it wasn't it doesn't work the same way the mortar does, which a lot of people are actually complaining about. So they might even end up changing it. And Yeah, that's like the one.
That's not so much true. I mean, it's the basic uh, controls aren't like the mortar, but if you increase the size of your mini map that you can do in the options, you can actually see when the rockets impact where they hit because there's a little kind of a shock wave that goes out on the mini map.
Uh huh.
So you can see where the rockets impact and adjust using that.
Now I feel like a total noob right now, and I didn't know you could increase the minimap in the game.
Yeah, you can tweak any HUD element.
Yeah, I guess I just never noticed that. So maybe I'll try that. What I was referring to though is everyone's complaining that you just don't have that easy, like half screen map and everything with the mortar, and it shows you where the guys are that are shooting around and stuff. But I think that would just be too easy. I mean, the mobile artillery is as powerful as I expected it to be, which is perfectly balanced. I hope they never touch it, but they most likely will because whatever people complain about is what they change and screw up in most cases. But me personally, I love the mobile artillery. I've gotten a good amount of kills with it. I think it works great. It brings me back to the Battlefield 1942 days on El Alamein, shooting across the map and everything. And it's just great that they added that. That's like one of my favorite vehicles that they added. Since the tank destroyer isn't as fast as I figured, and there's really no other vehicles. They added the quad bike, which Infidel already has his own custom Jihad quad bike company where they provide Jihad quad bikes for you in Battlefield 3. It's almost like Scooter in Borderlands 2. See, there we go. We said we weren't gonna mention Borderlands 2, and we can't help it. But yeah, I know Infidel is loving the quad bike. It's definitely a good thing to have, coming from bad company as well.
There's conveniently a rack on the front of it, perfect for C4.
Right. I always tell Infidel that's for your hunting rifle and everything, but yeah.
Yeah, but I just carry my rifle with me, man.
Yeah, you just put your ammo pack and your C4 there.
Yep, I put the ammo pack on the back so I can so I can get my C4 back in case I miss.
Right, and hopefully if you survive when you do the quad bike.
With the ATV, it's so much easier to bail out before you hit.
Yeah, sure you could definitely bail out a lot quicker than the Prowler and all that. It's just a lighter vehicle and it flies across the map basically.
I've already gotten 30 feet of air.
Yeah, it's fun to jump in the quad bikes as well. There's a couple of little hills on Bandar Desert, and you could take that hill and you'll jump and go across the map basically, and you're already at the flag where the gunship spawns or something.
Yep. The fun of it makes up for the vulnerability.
Yeah, that too. Who was it? I know it was you. You were playing with I want to say it was you at least, playing with Trigger Happy, right? Or was it? I think it was Trigger Happy and Zen. They were in a quad bike, and I'm just listening to them, over the Xbox Live chat and everything, and they were doing C4, quad bike, whatever, car bombs.
Oh no, that was me and Zen.
Yeah, and you guys ran into a tree stump, like a tree that was already destroyed, and it was solid, you didn't go through it, so it blew up.
Oh yeah, he came and picked me up. He had C4 all over it. And I was like, I swear to God, if you run into something and make us explode, you're gonna owe me. And a couple seconds after I say that, he hits the one tree stump in the middle of nothing.
And at that point, I just hear I didn't see it in the kill feed, which would have made it even funnier, without you guys reacting first. But then you reacted to it, and you're like, "Are you serious?" And so it's it was a tree stump. I didn't know it was gonna kill us. So that was hilarious. Yeah, you got to be careful with the quad bikes, people, if you're playing on Armored Kill, because if you run into anything really, I mean, most of the time you'll lose half of your health and it'll catch fire and all that. So you're gonna be even more of a sitting target because you're gonna be driving around with your quad bike on fire and anyone's gonna shoot at you.
You know those curbs on Bandar Desert on the side of all the roads.
Yeah.
That I drove full speed into one of those with a quad bike, and it made me explode. The little curb that you're supposed to be able to drive over
Yeah, I
made
mean,
me
I get.
explode.
I At the same time, I guess that's why they call it a quad bike and not a ATV, because it's not so much of an all-terrain vehicle. Because if you blow up from that, I mean, you can't go over many things or run into many things. But yeah, those are my impressions at least of Armor Kill. I mean, overall, it's great. Um, it's a nice addition, the biggest map in Battlefield history. All the fun things we mentioned over the past few podcasts leading up to the release, and let's see who gets it this week coming up, because they're still releasing it. I think non-premium PS3 members get it this coming Tuesday, and then finally, for anyone that doesn't have premium, which shameless plug that we always do, make sure you get premium because it's awesome anyway. Um,
Yep.
oh, actually, non-premium PS3 got it this past Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, because next week is the last week of September, and that's when non-premium PC and 360 players get it. So there you go. But yeah, if you don't have Battlefield 3 Premium, you should get it. I want to say the whole retail version of Battlefield 3 Premium has been available for some time now. So try to get that if you don't even have Battlefield 3. In which case, it's awesome that you're listening to our podcast to begin with, because
Yeah.
we're talking about a bunch of things and you don't even have the game. But get
Just like,
premium
what?
at least.
Uh,
Just
okay.
sign up for it. You're like taking notes in a notepad. That's okay. I mean,
Yeah. I'll know everything.
yeah. I'll just write it down and I'll remember. I'll be able to look at it while I'm flying the helicopter and all that.
It's like,
But
okay,
yeah,
so they
premium
said,
is definitely worth it.
oh, I remember in the fifth episode of Back to Battlefield podcast, they said there's no flares for the gunner seat. I remember that.
Yeah, you definitely have to remember that though, because that's changed the way the attack choppers are working out now in Battlefield 3. That's for sure.
I actually
Um,
like it that way because I don't
yeah,
feel
it's
guilty
it's not
about
so much of
using
a problem
guns.
anymore. You just see the helicopter pilots flying, a little more sensibly instead of just sitting there in the air and then flaring, back and forth, and you can never hit them or anything. So it's definitely caused helicopter pilots to do more of a strafing run, so to speak, on ground vehicles and all that, and just try to avoid things more, which is realistic, I would say. I mean, no one sits there in a helicopter in real life, I guess, in the middle of a war, taking all kinds of fire and be like, oh, don't worry about it, we'll just shoot the flares. But yeah, I mean that was a nice change overall. I never complained about taking out the flares from the gunner seats. I wasn't one of those people that complained right away without even trying to survive first or playing it. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you're taking notes like that, there's no flares in the gunner seat on the attack chopper.
I was gonna say something, then we started talking about this. I
About your
don't remember
server?
what it was. Huh?
About your server? Is that what you're gonna say?
No,
Oh.
no, but I'd like your permission to make it the official all random gaming server.
Yeah, go ahead.
Too bad I don't have any money for that. Anyway,
It's funny because I literally just had deja vu about that whole thing that just happened right now about you asking me for permission saying you don't have no money. Oh man.
yeah. Anyway, that reminded me what I was gonna ask you. In that raffle you're having, that has Microsoft points, right?
Yes, it does.
Win the raffle, buy premium. It's that simple.
Yeah. We mentioned that in the last podcast actually. Yeah, that was the whole metric ton of stuff to give away, and I made the big announcement at the end. And Infidel thought it was the iTunes thing at first.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for reminding me, because I actually have to kind of mention that because we said we would, and it's obviously been completed now. It's been on my live stream page for a while on Twitch TV, which is twitch.tv/Alec693. But yeah, it's all set up there. I actually set it up. When was it? I mean, I don't even remember the date. Like a week and a half ago, almost. I did it like the same day as the podcast or something, because I just wanted to surprise everyone. I was actually
Two
gonna
weeks
set it
ago.
up. Yeah, I was gonna set it up this past Tuesday, because Borderlands 2 was coming out and all that, but I did it a lot before. Um, yeah, the raffle ends up September 30th, and no one has entered into it yet. But you know what? Let's say, like I know a few people. I'm not gonna mention their names because then they might get yelled at or people talk smack or whatever. That are going to donate. They're just waiting for money or to see if other people donate first, I guess. But either way, if you have like the money, I mean, you should check out the raffle because you could probably donate like $20 or $40, and you're still gonna win everything and save money in one way or another. Because most of the things I'm
Donations
giving
greatly appreciated.
appreciated. Because most of the things I'm actually giving away, I got at a discount, or I've bought full price and everything, and I've just had them sitting in my room, so I need to get rid of them. I don't mind if people don't participate in the raffle anyway, because what I'm planning on doing after this ends this month is I'm actually gonna just set up a monthly chip in for maybe like 1,600 Microsoft points, and I'll make it so that once it reaches $10, so you could technically get them at half price or whatever if you win and all that. Then I'll give them away. But if not, something simple like that. And if not, I'll just roll over the entries to next month, and I'll do the same thing, and I'll have it available each month, and people could just, donate as they stop into the stream and watch, and they could win whatever I put up there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just remembered too, I was planning on giving away the deluxe edition junk of Borderlands 2, but I didn't even end up getting that version because I found out that even the costumes and all that were all pre-order things or exclusive whatever edition are all going to be available as DLC at some point. So since I have, a small amount of Microsoft points, I'll just buy them later on. Hopefully it don't
Small
cost
amount,
12,000. Hopefully it don't cost 12,000 points, because then I'm going to need some more. But yeah, check out the raffle, all that fun stuff. Donations are always appreciated, like Infidel said. And yeah, it's up there on the Twitch TV page once again, so check it out. Infidel, you said you were gonna be
Yes.
talkative. Wait, come on. You want to talk about Arma? Is that what you want to talk about? No?
I guess. Sure. Nobody cares about armor but me.
Yeah, I mean, I told you this podcast was gonna be quick because I just wanted to talk about the Armored Kill impressions and all that. We can maybe talk about Borderlands 2 and your bad luck with grenades, I guess. I don't know. They keep killing you.
Oh my god.
They keep killing you for some reason. I don't know why those grenades come out of nowhere and just kill you like that.
Right. Uh-huh.
But
You can
okay, so
explain. I'll just
you can explain.
I can't talk about it. It hurts.
I'm sorry, that was hilarious. But now we have to mention it because everyone's just sitting there wondering what we're referring to. But basically, in Borderlands 2, when you get to Sanctuary, we'll make it spoiler free. It's basically like the first main city you get to. There's slot machines because Mad Moxie owns like a little cafe type of thing. It's a bar, and
Spoiler.
I guess there's two slot machines in there, and me and Infidel have now wasted. I've wasted personally over $10,000 in it now. I want to say
Oh,
Infidel is
same
maybe
here.
like around $6,000-$7,000 or more.
Me?
Yeah.
I probably wasted more than you.
Oh,
Because I go
wow.
sell all my stuff and come back.
Yeah, so do I. And then we win money and we're like, oh, we won enough to play another round or whatever. But basically, we're addicted to the slot machines. So, if you get 3 bandit heads in a row, it drops a grenade right there on the spot out of the slot machine. So, we were playing earlier today and we just
The
decided
two
to
slot
mess.
machines are next to each other.
Yeah, they're right next to each other. Yeah. So we're standing there playing right next to each other on our own slot machines or whatever. So every time a grenade drops, it's obviously gonna hurt, one of us or both of us if we're still standing there. But today we decided to be jerks and not call them out every time. So there was one point that one of them dropped on my slot machine, and it basically killed Infidel, and I had to revive him. So we were dying of laughter. I mean, at least I was for like a good 5 minutes, and then I got another 3 bandit heads right after, and I just started crying of laughter. Like I couldn't deal with it.
And
But
I got
that-
one at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah, that was the second one that dropped on my machine, and you had one already coming out, so you like ran across the room. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not fair for the person that's like on the side near the wall
yeah, in that corner.
because
But I'll tell
they
you something.
can't
That
get
machine,
out.
yeah, and that machine that you're using seems like it has a little bit of bad luck. But when I started using it after you said to switch, it was kind of doing better.
Right.
But yeah, we've been playing Borderlands 2. Obviously, it's a fun game. If you want to break from Battlefield 3, I guess definitely play Borderlands 2. Um, I know a lot of people don't have it because
And
it's more of
Arma.
a get what
Get Arma.
get Arma. Yeah, if they have a PC, I guess. When
Like
is
I've got like I don't consider this to be a good PC, and it runs it just fine when I have the lowest graphics settings on.
yeah, well, to be honest with you, talking about PC games and all that. Usually when I actually play PC, when I used to play PC games that were, big multiplayer games like that, I never like to play on the highest graphics, like settings and all that, because I feel like I'm kind of doing it for no reason, and it's just gonna put more of a stress on my machine, and it might even slow down like my reaction and everything that I see on the screen, as far as the enemies go and all that, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like
Makes
for
sense to me
example,
because I've done it.
yeah, like for example, World of Warcraft is the easiest game I could think about because if you have a computer that could, add all these texture effects and shadows and all that, and you could add like extra grass, which is literally, that's not what the option says, but it's like, added textures or whatever, and you turn that on, and then you have a bunch of more like foliage in the areas and stuff, and it's like, why do I want that anyway? Like if some guy's hiding in the grass, then I can't see him, and he can see me because he has it turned off. So that's why I just turned like all that stuff to the low settings anyway. When it's a single player game like Doom and all that, oh yeah, I want to crank it up. I'll overclock my computer, overclock the game, everything. But when it comes like
So
if I was playing Arma 2, I would do the same thing. I would just have it on like the lowest things possible and turn everything off.
for for the people that don't want to waste the money on Arma 2 to find out they can't run it on their PC, download the free version. It's literally called Arma 2 free. Yeah, you can find it on Steam. Download that. If you can run that, most likely you can run the full version. So,
Is that how
and
is that
then
how you knew out of curiosity? Is that how you knew that you were gonna be able to play it on your laptop?
yes, yes.
Oh, I actually didn't know it was a free version. How does it
There
work? Is it
is.
like a trial type of thing?
Not exactly. Obviously it's made for people to download the free version and go, "Hey, let's get the full version." Uh
Yeah.
Basically it's the same thing, except it's only just regular Arma 2. Uh no HD graphics. There's some limitations to what you can do. There's no player mod, so you can't cheat your way into DayZ by getting the free version. Yet, if you get the free version and Armor 2 Operation Arrowhead, then you can cheat your way into DayZ.
Oh.
So you can save yourself $10.
Now,
Um,
what are the limitations like in the free version?
uh, it's subtle things like some vehicles and weapons and gameplay, like servers, certain
Those aren't
certain
available.
server. What?
Those certain things aren't available. You mean when you're playing the free version?
Correct.
Oh, okay. And there's no like time trial, right? When you're playing the free version
No
of the
time
game.
travel. Trial.
Tribal.
Uh,
Rush Island. What? This is part two now.
oh man.
Time tribal. So that's like a tribal version of time travel. Is that what you tried to say there?
I guess.
Oh man.
um, Most people get Arma 2 for DayZ, for the DayZ mod.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
big thing now.
to be honest, that's not why I got it. It's just kind of a side thing. It's still fun and all, but primarily, just the regular game itself is very fun.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
why it
lot of different
surprised me
stuff.
when you had told me you were suddenly playing Arma 2 and all that back in our heavier gameplay of Minecraft. You were telling me all of a sudden that you were playing Arma 2 and all that, and you got your laptop back or whatever was happening, and I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, you're playing DayZ also," and you're like, "No, actually, I'm playing the regular game." I was like, "What?" But yeah, that's the
Yeah,
big thing now. I mean, I know they're making that. I'm sure you know about it because I think you've mentioned it to me, and I was like, "Yeah, I knew about it." That they're
they're
making the
making the
DayZ.
standalone.
Yeah. Now we'll see. I would expect them like if it gets pretty big when they're developing that game, I would expect it to come to the consoles. I mean, I don't know what you think, but I think if they
If
get
it
a
if it did, it would pull a Minecraft and just be not nowhere near as fun as PC.
right, that too, yeah. And
Um,
obviously, PC players will complain about it because they just like to complain and be like, "Oh, I can't believe they put it on consoles now. That's meant to be played on a PC."
yeah, and to the back to the standalone game, I don't think that would be worth it. I mean, I assume it would be like $15, but I believe that you should, even when it's out, that you should just get Arma 2 and download the mod. That way you have a, if you get bored of DayZ, you're just not, oh, hey, I'm bored of DayZ. Nope, done with that game. You're like, oh, I'm bored of DayZ, let's go play the regular game,
Right, that makes sense,
which
yeah.
which is kind of like a mix of Battlefield, Call of Duty, and awesome.
And awesome. With some awesome sauce on top.
Yeah, the awesome basically ditches all the stupid stuff about Call of Duty.
But I forgot. Oh, okay. What I was gonna say is, you think the DayZ standalone game is just gonna be $15?
That's what they're saying.
Oh, okay. I expected it to be like, am I right in thinking that it's gonna be, an actual like separate game, like its own retail box and everything, or no? Because
No,
I thought it was gonna be.
it's probably just gonna be one of those small downloadable games.
Oh, okay, like through
It's
Steam and
I
all that probably.
it's gonna be just like Minecraft, I believe, just the way you can get Minecraft.
Oh, okay. Then in that case, yeah, I don't even think it's gonna be on the consoles. Of course, I thought it. I was thinking, they were gonna make it like a separate whole thing. Like, I don't know how to explain it right now because there isn't really a game that I could think of that has done that. Like, I just thought it was gonna be like Left 4 Dead, for example, that was through Steam and all that, and then they made it on consoles and all that, and it was a separate $60 game and all that. That's what I meant.
And all that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought DayZ was going to do with all that. I guess the developers or whatever, but I guess not. If it's gonna
You're
be
saying all
$15,
that a lot.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. All that fun stuff is what I'm
Yep, all
referring
right.
to. All right, that's it.
Yeah. I think we're good. I think it's long enough.
But yeah. So you could throw in your pitch now for your new server on Battlefield 3, and then I guess we could close it up.
All right. I have a server for 7 days on Battlefield 3. It is obviously going to be an armored kill only server, conquest, all that good stuff. One tank superiority round. The server name is Kill Some Armor! Exclamation! 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 That's hard to say very very quickly. And then it's armored kill. Probably not that hard to find. I'm the owner, expert infidel.
Yeah, there's a space
Um,
in between there.
yeah, there's a space in between there. No friend requests. I will not accept them.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously now, I mean, we'll figure out a way to hopefully extend the server. If anything, I'll
Yes,
use my.
I believe I will be able to get it. I only bought it for a week. I believe I will be able to extend it for another week
Right.
after that. So
Yeah,
we'll
we'll see.
see.
If anything, as of right now, what I was gonna say is we'll definitely be playing in it. Again, I live stream everything whenever I'm playing on Xbox, so we'll be playing in that server. Um, Whenever we're on Battlefield 3. Right now, we're playing a little bit more of Borderlands 2. But Infidel has played. He was playing on his server today, like he mentioned earlier. So if anything, you could message him or whatever, or find the server and add it to your favorites. And I don't know, Infidel, if you want to set up like a chip in or something and, put in the server message that you'll accept donations or things like that, and you could do that too.
Yep. To keep the server up and running.
Because remember, the big thing now, which is actually a good thing now that I think about it, like if you're going to start up a server for anyone really, if they're going to be an actual like sensible admin and everything and not be some power hungry 10-year-old, you could definitely ask for donations and stuff. And if people enjoy the server, I'm sure plenty of people will donate. Like that's the easiest way to keep the server up. I'm sure. And if people come in there, and you can have like a little type of program that if they donate a certain amount of money, they'll get admin for forever or for a certain amount of time and all that fun stuff.
Ah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe you could think of something like that, but if not, we'll figure out a way to make it last longer. At this point, since you got the server, I'll try and see if I could put together some Microsoft points magic and
Yep.
extend it.
To all of you listeners, if you donate enough for 2 months of server, you can guest co-host on the podcast.
On the podcast.
Uh-huh.
Which means you'll replace Infidel, I think is what he's trying to say. No, you'll be another co-host if all goes well, because we've actually tried that before, and we use Skype actually to record the podcast along with a couple of other programs, and it wasn't going so well. So maybe we'd have to look for other ventures as far as having more than one host, but I'll figure it out. I'm the guy that actually records the podcast and all that, so that shouldn't be too difficult. And yeah, I guess you'll be a co-host. So you just heard it from Infidel. He probably just thought of that right now, and you could be a co-host
Yep.
if you donate. What is it again for 2 months worth of hosting?
Yep. I'm not sure how much that
Yeah, I
is
forgot all
actually.
the
4,000
point values
Microsoft
and
points, I
everything.
think.
Yeah, I forgot all the point values, and I clearly
I believe
never.
it is 2,000 for 30 days. So.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that. I know I had memorized it like before the servers even came out, and then I was like, oh, whatever, okay, 5,000 Microsoft points for 3 months. Yeah, that's cool. But I mean, clearly, I didn't even know you could rent one for a week because you did that, and I was like, oh, okay.
You
I
can
thought
rent
it
one
was-
for a day.
Yeah, that one I knew, and there's actually isn't there like a 3-day one, or
No.
there isn't? Okay.
1 day,
Okay,
1 week, 30 days, and so on.
Yeah. And yeah, if anything, I'm gonna list. I'll find a nice way to list because my live stream is actually filling up with a lot of information on the biography thing. But if anything, if you're in the live stream and you want to check the server that we're in, which is Infidel server, you could see the name also as well through the chat command from Nightbot. And yeah, I mean, so Infidel has a server. I'm an admin on it as well. We decided to keep it a bit of a secret who the other admins are, so jerks don't go in the server and do ugly things and get banned. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
Yeah, I actually, speaking of the whole secret thing, I actually didn't even list myself as an admin.
Oh, you
I
lied to
wanted to
me.
make. Huh?
You lied to me
wanted-
then? Because you say you listed me, right?
Yeah, I only listed you.
Oh, right. Because your gamer tag was a bad word, apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
because Infidel's a religion, like anti-religion thing.
Yeah, but speaking of which, moving from the tactics corner that we went into earlier in the podcast, a little server hosting tip, especially on Battlefield 3, with things how they are nowadays in that game, and everyone hates like the admins on all the servers because you get kicked for killing the admin, you get kicked for doing all sorts of stupid or things that make sense, and people just complain about it. But don't list who your admins are on the server description or anything if you actually want to keep the server sensibly tamed, because then if you list the admins, people just go into that server, check the player list or whatever right away before even going into it even, and they'll be like, oh, there's no admin in here, I'm going to go in here and team kill everyone and record it and put it on YouTube because I have nothing better to do. But yeah,
The reason
don't
I
do that.
listed Alec was so he can feel like he has power.
Yeah, that was the story. So Infidel's name, he couldn't list it, and then he left my name there. So apparently, I like feeling powerful. But Yeah, I can't wait to play in the server whenever we're bored of Borderlands 2. I won't be bored of it for a while, but I'll actually be playing Battlefield 3 this weekend. I could say that because I got a couple of matches that I'm gonna try to make in my platoon on Battlefield 3. So
On whose
yeah.
server?
Well, it can't be on yours is the right answer because yeah, one of the platoon guys has to host it, like from either platoon, and we're always the ones hosting it because we have like 3 or 4 servers, I think. So unless you join the platoon, Infidel, I don't know if you want, I don't know if you want to join the platoon there.
I'll have to hack my KD to make it look good.
Hack your KD. Yeah, so just to recap, we got the server updates on Battlefield 3. Who knows when the next patch comes out? That's the other bad thing because it seems like at this rate DICE is being a little lazy. I don't know if it really takes that long for them to prepare a patch in the past few months with the other ones I have released, but they're obviously only going to release a patch every time a new DLC comes out, so the most we're going to get is these server updates. And we'll see how far they could go with the server updates, if there's going to be more of them, and then we'll see whenever the patch comes out. What's the next DLC still? Aftermath, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then we have Endgame after that, which comes out. Endgame is supposed to be out. Is that the one that's supposed to be out by December? No, right?
No, Aftermath is December.
Okay, and then Endgame comes out like in February or something, right?
March.
March, okay. How about Medal of Honor? Are you finally getting that?
No, not keeping up with that really.
Yeah, I've seen the gameplay video and I saw that Osama bin Laden, which is pretty much what it is, that gameplay trailer reveal thing that we get it exclusively in the US. That should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I'll have the budget to get Medal of Honor because I just got Borderlands 2.
Oh, right. But
and I pre-ordered that, so.
Yeah. I'll be getting it. I mean, my biggest fear, actually, which I was planning on mentioning in this podcast, it's not really a fear even because it's kind of like I know they're gonna do it. Is that DICE? They're gonna stick with the whole. We'll release a patch when the DLC comes out. So, as far as what I think they're just gonna have 2 more patches, 2 big patches with each of the next 2 DLCs, and that's gonna be it. Then they're just gonna focus on Medal of Honor. Up to a certain point, then they'll complete Battlefield 4, release it, and they'll be taking care of that game. I don't think they're going to be taking care of all these games at the same time.
Alright, so we broke an hour.
Yeah.
May want to wrap this up.
Well, we'll talk about the DLC and Medal of Honor in the next podcast, which will probably be... we've realized that the podcast has been more of a bi-weekly thing lately because there's just not that much information coming out of the Battlefield world. And yeah, so
we kind of make the podcast a little bit longer and bi-weekly.
Yeah, I guess that too, because initially, I mean, we started with like a 40-minute podcast, the first episode, and we've gone up steadily, and now we're at like the 1 hour mark is what we're sticking to really. But yeah, just stay tuned for the next episode like usual. Check out all the YouTube fun stuff, the live stream stuff. Check out Infidel server. Check out the September raffle, which is going on right now. Again, it ends on September 30th. September 29th is Infidel's birthday, right?
Yay!
Yay! So you give him a birthday present. There you go. There's another incentive. Give him a birthday present. Help him host the server. But yeah, we'll catch you guys next time for episode 7. And then pretty soon we'll be celebrating that we're at episode 10. In another like 3 months, probably. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I'm Random Alec. See you next time.
Peace.